Hello everyone, this is Peter, and I am here with today's bite on August 12th, 2015. And today I want to touch upon the subject of empathy. So I was reading an article, and it was a TED speech by Monica Lewinsky. And what do we remember of Monica Lewinsky? The woman who had an affair with President Bill Clinton back in the 90s. And I remember, that she was portrayed as the other woman, mistress, slut, and a whole number of other things that basically passed on a whole bunch of judgments on her. And her talk was about coming out and talking about her story afterwards. And her story was of someone who faced constant criticism, judgments, and going through an experience where she suffered really greatly. And has had her own journey that up until now she kept quiet. And now she's talking about it, and her platform is based upon being empathic to those who you haven't heard their side of the story yet. And this brought out that, the reason we can empathize with somebody else and why we connect with them is because chances are really good that wherever they're feeling, wherever they're going through, you've gone through something similar. And at some point, we know how that person felt. And we can bring to mind how we went through that experience. How might have we addressed it, how might we have processed it, and what we did to simply move on and not continue not doing what we want from it. And when I think about her situation, her story, I remember back to the times that I've been picked on. That these people had these judgments, these other kids had these judgments of me because I wasn't the same race as they were. And these kids had all these feelings and the judgments from their parents who were feeling dismayed at the declining neighborhoods. And how do we feel when we're being picked on like that? And how limiting is that for us? So when we are unable to recall my own situations that brought up the same feelings, it became much easier to see their story from their perspective. Doesn't make them. It doesn't mean that they didn't do what they did and that they didn't make a choice that they did. We have to, for any number of reasons, and it brings to awareness the choices I made back then as a kid, which highlights the fact that she made her choices back then as an intern. And the results that came from that, the results I had from making my choices dealing with those kids that kept bullying me. So then, suddenly, all those things I heard about Monica Lewinsky, all those things that people have said about me and how I reacted, it doesn't seem to matter that much anymore. For that moment in her powerful story, which captivated enough people to have a TED Talk, in that moment, I was reminded and understood again what it's like to be on the other side. And how many of us have done something that we regret doing, or something that we understand wasn't of our highest intent? Are we then deserving of the scorn and judgment of others? Does it still seem justified that we heap judgment and scorn upon others who make the mistakes? So this is part of empathizing with another person. And this is also, I found it to be a foundation, well, that's redundant, a foundation for connecting with other people, a foundation for seeing more of our commonalities of other people rather than the differences. I see a foundation for how universal connection to each other is. And also, finally, a foundation for compassion and empathy. When I start to look at and feel how that might feel, and then give you an example. 9/11, Hurricane Katrina, Superstorm Sandy, as they would call it. How many times have you seen on the news, on the internet, of people rallying together to help each other? When you see this atypical wave of help and of activity and of rebuilding and positivity coming out of those disasters. What if that happened every day for any reason? Heck, I don't think you even need a reason. You don't need to even justify it. What if we were like that as much as we can? Every minute, every second, every millisecond. What if we simply came together, find our commonalities, and to rally for a common cause? And a common cause is simply being us. Simply choosing to look forward. Well, simply choosing to look forward to all the possibilities that open up if we did everything together. We did everything not separated. In my perspective, that sounds pretty exciting. If we can see those places of togetherness and unity that only come after major disasters happen all the time, even in celebration. We certainly come together a lot at celebrations and parties. We see examples of it all the time when you have a political candidate come and rally people. So what if we expanded that? So that's the bite of today. Thank you for watching. Take care.